So you guys are probably familiar with this idea, whether it's yourself or you've just seen this in the manifesting community and in comments, that people are saying, they're doing everything right. You're doing it all, you're ticking the list, but nothing's showing up. So what's actually keeping your manifestation from being here faster, from actually conforming? Looking for signs. So today I'm going to get into why it's keeping your manifestation from fully arriving, because your focus is going out into the 3D reality, and we're going to talk about how exactly to fix that. Welcome back, guys. Today, as you just heard, we are talking about signs, birds before land, but not what do they mean, and not the positive signs and symbols of your manifestation coming in, but the idea of actually getting stuck on that. People can get really stuck on what's present or not present in the 3D reality. So we're going to delve into this topic further today. Do stay tuned, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to see more of this kind of content. I have tons of advice, constant regular uploads. So you want to stay tuned and be one of the first people to be able to engage with me in the comments, hear the advice, because it's all here to help you guys, right? Like, even though this is my career, but the content itself is meant to be beneficial for you. So yeah, I would very much appreciate if you guys wanted to do that. But also, if you want to take things an extra step further and get some extra support, maybe you want to invest into your manifesting journey if you're struggling at all, everything is linked below. On screen are my coaching offers. I have tons of special discounts and things, so please do click the link into my website below if you want to take a look. You can also become a member. I'm about to start filming my monthly membership content here on YouTube. So you want to be a part of that and be able to vote on it before I actually create the content. So yeah, that's it. And now let's start the video. When you start to look for signs and you get fixated on, what's showing up with these signs and trying to analyze every little moment, you're getting stuck in this state of needing reassurance, of no longer being in that end result state, which you don't need to be in fully. And I'm not even talking emotionally. It's more mentally that's most important. So it's really, thinking as if, rather than saying, oh, let me check for the movement. That's not you telling yourself you have your desire. That's kind of the opposite of looping your affirmations. So you're taking yourself out of that end result state of, I already have it. I'm convincing my mind of this, and you're needing that reassurance. So it's like you're going from that version of you that already has it and convincing your mind to then saying, but what's going on externally? But look at this thing in the 3D. And yes, signs are, probably going to be positive. It's usually if people are saying, oh, what does this mean? I saw these numbers or, all these things, but you can get fixated on it. And it's sometimes hard to let go of that and then differentiate between, I'm convincing my mind, I'm focusing and working on it internally, which is the answer, which is the way the external conforms. But then at the same time, you'll say, okay, I've done that, but then why is this showing up in the external reality, but not my manifestation? And why is this here? Or why is there a lack of my manifestation? Whatever it is, there's all sorts of different reactions that can stem from that. And it's just not a good practice and good idea to get fixated on those signs. So of course it is a small matter, and it's not, like I said, negative. You're not getting fixated on circumstances. That's not what we're talking about in today's video. But even though it might seem small, it can create a delay. It can slow things down, because like I said, you're taking yourself out of that state and saying, what's going on here? What? Well, let me look for signs. It's not even just recognizing, which is obviously fine, saying, oh, look, a bird before land. It's like when you get fixated, you try to overanalyze, you go out and seek them. You say, all right, let me see, what movement is there? What can I see that's, improved or shifted, whatever it may be. You're taking yourself out of that affirmative state of, I have this, I have this, I have this. Your mind and subconsciously are both, conscious and subconscious are both listening and taking that in. But then you're saying, okay, let me go and analyze the 3D. Let me go back to a logical way of thinking or seeking movement, seeking reassurance. That's not coming from the mindset that you should be trying to develop. Even if it's a little imperfect, that's okay. As I said, it's really easy for people to get caught up in trying to analyze or look for and get hyper fixated on angel numbers, some type of confirmation, a message about their manifestation, and really just focusing too much on the signs. And it's not a negative, like I said, necessarily, but it's not a good practice because of, what can happen and slowing down your manifestation. But then what you're also doing is focusing your mind on, here's a sign that I've created progress, rather than just saying, No, I've got it right now. It's here right now. So it's better to just focus straight into the end result, rather than try and say, okay, here's a sign that, at least SP is thinking of me. Oh, maybe this means, there's some progress or some movement. Oh, this is, maybe actually finally I've created movement. That's not the best case scenario way of thinking. You should be trying to focus on and tell yourself, it's here now. No matter what the 3D shows, I know it's mine. There's signs all around me because I said so. Dictating it from a confident mindset rather than, well, look at what the 3D's shown me, and then basing your thoughts around that. And then, of course, your 3D reality possibly isn't fully prepped yet, whether it's a case of you need to be more consistent, maybe keep developing on what you're doing, or it just needs time. The 3D, of course, can have a delay. It was not going to instantly reflect your full manifestation. There's a little bit of a time lag usually. So chances are your 3D reality just isn't fully prepped yet, isn't fully conforming. It's coming in. The movement could be behind the scenes, or, the conforming process is happening, but you need to give a bit more time. So just because the 3D is not fully prepped yet, you might look outwards and then say, well, there's no signs, or I need to go out and seek signs, or I'm getting impatient, what's going on, and trying to analyze things. And then assuming that whatever you see is objective, or because you've seen 3 signs today that you need to analyze that and what does it all mean, and delve into to try and find an external meaning to it, or saying, well, I haven't seen any signs, what, let me go out and look, why am I not seeing signs? It doesn't matter. What matters is your mindset about the end result. Discipline really is the most important element to help you stay on track if you are struggling or you want to get out of this kind of fixation, because discipline is going to be how you more or less have somewhat of a schedule, somewhat of a routine. You understand and maybe have already started applying repetition, consistency, what you should be doing, and not relying on proof, not needing anything externally to show you that your manifestation is on track or coming in. It's all about the discipline with your mindset and saying, okay, it's becoming normalized. I'm going to keep working to normalize this new positive way of thinking, the mental diet, the repetition, almost like becoming second nature for your affirmations. It's the discipline that you apply to yourself, to your own thoughts. That's what matters. And then being able to separate that from needing validation, needing proof from your physical reality. Obviously, people do want signs, and it's natural to have that urge or hope for seeing signs, or, ideally you'd like to see the signs and the movement coming in, like your SP's name, or just something like super specific to help keep you motivated on track and show you, okay, I'm actually doing this, it actually works. I get that, but it's about persisting without needing that reassurance. And even when you feel doubt, not seeking that validation, not going out to try and analyze or look for signs, because manifestation really comes down to your mindset, as I said, but persisting regardless of having proof, regardless of having some kind of validation. Because manifesting isn't about getting the proof first. You're not going to see the evidence. You have to believe it before you see it. The way people would say, I'll believe it when I see it, but you have to believe it to see it in this case. So the belief builds up on its own, but essentially the 3D reflects and follows whatever happens internally first. And then, of course, when you can hold that visual, when you can hold that end result in your mind and consistently, day in, day out, repeat it, that doesn't mean all day long or become obsessive, but when you can hold that and say, this is my end result, this is what I'm creating, this is what I want, it feels real, it feels like a really full end result desire that I can really imagine, and this is what I'm creating, this is going to be mine. When you can persist in that, your 3D reality will have no choice but to conform. It has to shift, it has to reflect what your dominant focus and assumptions are. So this is literally the only sign and question you need to be asking. Can you persist in that new assumption? Can you persist in your affirmations regardless of what's being shown? Despite not seeing the evidence, can you continue to persist in that affirmation? That is essentially where the real conforming process is. Like I said, it always starts internally. The external is not where you get the, factual, objective reality, it all starts internally. What are the beliefs you're starting to shift and create new versions of, new positive versions of? And focusing on that version of you who gets what they want. You are the version now who gets what they focus on. You're going to get the end result that you want because you're putting in the effort. You are the version who has everything that you want. Trying to delve into that mindset, that idea, reinforcing that, building your confidence, trusting in the process, all of that, it does build up. It doesn't just naturally come up as an assumption and a belief like, oh yeah, I'm just going to manifest everything I want easy. It's not, natural to think that way, and that's completely fine. But that is where the real conforming comes in, not whether you're seeing signs or what's showing up in your 3D at present. So obviously the answer is going to be stop checking. Stop refreshing pages, stop looking for things online, stop constantly analyzing and being on like an anxious high alert. You just need to get from the mindset of, it's mine already. Of course it's done. Of course it's real. This is my new reality now. This is literally where my life is. I've quantum shifted. I've created that end result. The 3D has no choice but to conform. That's the type of mindset you want to keep working to build up, and letting go of whatever it is you're seeing around you, especially the lack. Acknowledging the positive signs as they are. They're a small win. They're a good push to keep going and showing you you're on the right track, but not hyperfixate and not seek externally constantly. So yeah, just getting into that positive mindset, persisting in that, trying your best to build up that confidence. That's really what you need to focus on and keep doing. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed that, found that useful, a good point to reassure you guys when it comes to dealing with your 3D reality. And yeah, if you did enjoy, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you next time.